Whoops, sorry about that, guys. I'm a little bit late, but well, welcome to the free trading room this morning, Friday, November the 26th. My name is Barry Anderson, moderator of your trading room. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends. And I guess we've got the hardcore here this morning. Only half a day. Remember, only half a day trading today. Market will close 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So just remember. And now, typically, in the last few half days, well, of course, I think there's only a couple a year. We usually turn the AI off, but the AI will be working today. All right, but just remember, the market will close at 1 o'clock. And let's see what's happening. Well, we've got some serious market rippage this morning. I was just counting my gap ups versus my gap downs, and it's about a ratio of 5 to 1 in terms of gap ups versus gap downs. The only sector, if you want to call it a sector, the cryptos, of course, got hit hard over the weekend, or not the weekend, but the last yesterday, I guess. I think the crypto market was down about, or Bitcoin was down about 15 or 20%. So that has taken things like Mara, which we've been following. So sorry, let's get the right symbol in. So that's taken Mara down, Riot down, a lot of the ones that we've been following. This may be a buying opportunity. We'll have to see, as long as crypto does revive itself a bit. But the EVs are back full force. Just one moment, please. Just want to do something on my other monitor. Give me one second here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the SPACs are going crazy again. It's funny how this rotates. I mean, the SPACs went crazy about a month ago or a month and a half ago. Then they were sort of silent for a while, but now even last week they were starting to pop up. And of course, GKK's IPOB, nice gap up. Look at that gap up, almost 10%. IPOB now it is falling. It's coming off the highs. Got as high as 23 something. It's about $1 off the highs, but still nice gap up. I keep waiting for IPOC, and it's not ready yet. It's just not ready yet. No point in getting into it yet, but I'm going to keep waiting on this IPOC to see when it finally gets rolling. Maybe in the new year. Meanwhile, one of our other favorite ones, Palantir. Look at this. What a gap up. 7.5%. Got up to 31.86. Now, this would have, look where it got on Friday. Down to $23, a hard hold. But then it completely and utterly recovered Friday, closed near the highs, and now is gapping up again. So that is PLTR. SRNE is it still holding? Yeah, it's holding its gap. Now, a lot of these, is this Smart Firm? This is not Smart Firm, is it? No, Sorrento. Okay, so just trying to see if Sorrento rallies on a DARPA JPO contract to Smart Farm. Okay, so that is the reason for Sorrento going up. It's funny, when I checked a lot of these gappers in the morning, I couldn't really find any reason for it. It's sort of just because. AMWL is another one that is gapped up. See if it's holding its gap. Yes, it's holding its gap. Again, I don't see any specific reason for it. AMDL, but that's a big, nice gap up for it. IPO back here. Clean Energy has been on a little bit of a tear. Had a bit of that was Thursday. Sorry, that was Wednesday. I'll get it right. That was Tuesday. This is Wednesday. Remember, yesterday the market was closed. So let's see if it can take out Tuesday's high for Clean Energy, CLNE. It has finally got rolling. Look at all this, all these weeks and days and months, etc., really doing nothing, and all of a sudden, with a lot of the energies, EV, I guess it's sort of an EV play. Works, WORX. It's kind of coming back down. Actually, when I first saw this, I thought maybe this was a reverse split. Again, I don't see any specific news on it. But this hit 267 in the pre-market. It is kind of coming back down. Don't see any specific news, but look how much has traded. 16 million with a 6.6 million in the float. I do see APXT. It's on my list. APXT, another SPAC that is. Now, I have to probably disregard these topping tails right up to 16, but nonetheless, APXT. I don't know who they're trying to buy, but APXT, another one. FCX, big float. Freeport McMoran. What a run it's had. I mean, over the last 6 months, 7 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess 8 months. You know, from almost a triple. Oh, wow, almost a quadruple. In fact, not almost, it is. FCX, and it's a big, big float, but what a move it's had. Who with, though, for the APTX, who with? Tour, another one that had been very active last week. Again, but it is pulled back. Well, not that much. 407 down to 381. Again, I don't see any specific news on it. It's a big float also. I think they're a China stock. Yeah, they're a China stock. Solo. Again, as I said before, a lot of the EVs are starting to come back a little bit. You know, I had a down day on Tuesday. Another down day on Wednesday. WYY, again, I know this is a broken record. Don't see any specific news on it, WYY. And I'm sure there must be something. I have to understand, though, all I can do is look at a headline. Don't have time to really, you know, scour to see what the reason is. But for some of these moves, if I can't see it on a headline, I have to move on. But WYY, low float, 7.7 million in the float. Lots of volume already. AviPoint, okay, what do they do? Avenue Point, what do they do? JMIA, another, look at the, what a move. I mean, this is almost getting close to that $50 level that it hit over 2 years ago. Sorry, not 2 years ago, a year and a half ago when it did its IPO. What a comeback, what a month. I mean, what a month. A low of $11, $12, $40 now. Software vendor, thank you, Yambo. APHA. Okay, now this is actually pulling back a little bit. Always looks worse on the 2-minute chart, but it's gone from 737 down to 723. Cannabis play, of course. NNDM is on the move. Also, 3D play. NNDM. What a nice move this is making. Taking out that high of a few days ago. NNDM. Just one moment, please. All right, just a minute, please, while I pour some coffee here. Interesting to see how many people actually show up in the room today for this half day. I always find this holiday is the weirdest one when you have a... Why didn't you guys do it on Friday? Make it a true long weekend. Okay, what else do we have here? I think I've covered the ones. Now, the other one, just to keep in mind, DLPN. DLPN is not capped up 400%. This is a 1-for-5 reverse split. Okay, so this has not taken into account that. So actually, so that float number, which is already very low, will go down a little bit below 5 million. when you adjust it for the reverse split. Because you are a junkie, William. Anybody in here today is really, you know, you got to be super keen. But congratulations. Goods. So I take it you're not working today. Nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, I do not expect very many upgrades and downgrades this morning. Let me just do a quick check. I don't expect to see very many. And the answer is, you know what? Nothing. Got a couple of ones that end in Y, which are foreign stocks. DEO, I'll put it in here anyway, but I mean, yeah, there are no downgrades. That's it. Short list, DEO and BBVA. She had a good trainer, William. So we'll see how long I go today. I mean, normally I shut down about an hour before the market actually closes. So we'll see what happens at noon today, Eastern time. Okay, I know the market's open till 1. Remember that, the market is open only till 1 today, a half day. So we'll see what happens. It might really, I'm sure it's going to really tail off in the last couple of hours. Just checking my gapper list to see anything. Cody is in here now on the downside, COTY on the downside. The funny thing is, PJ, the market has been so, well, it's been so good for almost 10 years, over 10 years now. There's been, I mean, look, yeah, we had the big downturn, obviously, from February for a few months. But it lasted not even a few months, 2 months. 2 months. And then it just started ripping again, so. Here's another one that is coming into my gappers, UTSI. Not very much volume yet. I'm sorry, it's only up 3 cents. It is coming into one of my short gappers, not short as in shorting, but mild gappers. Keep an eye on ASPN, guys. I mean, again, there's no volume yet, but look at this one. It's above last month's high. Had a great day last few days. Great day on Wednesday. Excuse me. This might be a continuation. You know, potential swing. I mean, I don't know what industrial building construction, not too familiar with these guys. I'm not sure if they actually did I'm sure this is not an IPO. Probably a symbol name change right here. Make sure that, oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. No, it's just working well. I mean, it's an all-time high. ASPN is just, but again, no volume yet, but has a potential swing. Morning, Marius. Yeah, big gap for Palantir. I mean, it's, and as I was, if you just got into the room, I was saying, I mean, this would have been a tough one though. I mean, this hit $23 on Wednesday. I mean, it's gapped up. I mean, at the low of Wednesday. Now it recovered, but as a potential swing, a lot of people probably got shaken out right here, but then it completely recovered, and now it's gapping up again. Tremendous IPO after the fifth week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after the fifth week, the first 5 weeks were just nothing. And then after that, look at this. Yeah, all the EVs are, I mean, Blink, of course, has got hammered on its own by, again, I always get them mixed, not mixed up, but it doesn't really matter. Citron or Street Sweeper piled into them saying they were garbage. And let's see. If anything else is, oh, F-Tech is coming back in also. F-Tech. Yeah, keep an eye on F-Tech for sure. I mean, it hit 7, a little over 7 on Wednesday. Tuesday. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, market closed yesterday. So now, so this is just up in this area right here. So it's above Tuesday's high, Wednesday's high. I'll get it right. You got to quit your job. Well, all right, guys. So the market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So just if you want to follow, I have no idea what to expect today from my watch list. You know, it's got a few. It's got some names in it, about 30 or so. So we'll see what gets extracted. If you want to follow my watch list all day long, just click on New from the toolbar, channel bar, and then my watch list right here. Remember, everything in here is a layout. So remember to save your layout to the cloud first. You can only have one layout loaded at a time. Nothing will happen in these two windows until at least 9:45. That's on purpose. And we are still having a Black Friday, Thanksgiving special. So I'll put that into the room here. Okay, so hopefully you understand these instructions here. If you do want to take, so from my homepage, yeah, just click on and then click on Get Trade Ideas, and you can use that promo code Thanksgiving, 25% off. Remember, the Thanksgiving is all in caps. And for anybody in this room who took out a subscription lately, thank you very much. Much appreciated. One of the things that keeps this room free is those of you who take out subscriptions using my link. All right, just give me a moment here, YouTube. It just doesn't allow me to put a lot of things in the YouTube in terms of text. So just a second. There we go, and I'm going to have to break it up then. All right, everybody, so 9:26, so market will open shortly. And NDM is, wow, that's very strong. Look at this. I mean, it is now gapping up over that week right there also. So NNDM, again, I don't see any specific news on it. It's the 3D play. I'm sure CBAT is up. I'm sure all these, yeah, just couldn't, wow, okay, just popped though. Okay, I see what you're looking at here. CBAT, yes. I think goods was just pulling your leg and maybe my leg. You know, I've said this before. I mean, you know, trading is hard, you know, and one of the things is that if you absolutely have to make money in the market to pay for your mortgage, pay for your groceries and all that, that's a lot of pressure. So we're always talking about that. Well, not always talking about that, but I mean, it's nice to have another income as well as your trading income. I can't imagine, you know, I gotta make money, otherwise I can't pay the rent. I mean, that's incredible pressure. Just give me a moment here, just adjusting something here, my other monitor. Okay, I see a couple others are just showing up on my gappers list. My gappers list. NNOX. Okay, this is the more expensive one. So I don't know if this is, no, it doesn't, I don't know if this is a 3D play. No, it's not a 3D play. Okay, I thought it may be a 3D play, which might have been why NNDM was moving up. Also PEIX is just showing up now too. You can see right here, I mean, look at PEIX. I'm going to stick a price alert right around 753. It's not that far away. You just see that if, right here, I mean, if it can take this out right here, I mean, look at the potential fill for PEIX. All right, everybody, market is going to open in less than a minute. So let's see what happens today with this half a day of trading. I don't know how much trading I'll actually do today. Here's Macy's actually gapping down. They're expecting big, not necessarily Macy's, but they're expecting big things from retail, even though, you know, what did I read? They're expecting actually a bump from last year. Internet. Look at Tour, guys. I'm sorry, I'm just being distracted here. Look at Tour. Look at the gap now for Tour. Just taking this out. We're now open. So again, remember, market's only open till 1 o'clock today, Eastern time. So we only have, what, 3.5 hours, 4.5 hours. All right, triple D is a little gap up for triple D now. Little gap up. What I was going to say, I mean, online shopping looks like they're expecting actually a bump from last year, which makes sense. You know, less people actually going into the malls. SFT popping up also. Here's a SPAC from Wednesday. I don't think so. I don't think options. I don't know, John. I mean, I don't trade options, but I don't see why options would be option markets would be closed today. No, look, I have some options today right here for NNDM in terms of volume, so I don't think it's closed. NNDM, guys, look at this. Look at the move it's making. I'm surprised there's any movement at all in AMC or CNK. I think I read that, I mean, it makes sense. Revenue's down about 77%, 80% from last year for the theaters. SFT, guys, look at this. Shift Technologies. Where are they out of? Look at SFT. So this is an IPO here. Again, another one. Look at the week it's had. I mean, it's almost a double just in this week alone, SFT. There's RMG, guys. Again, another SPAC. Look what it hit pre-market, 1675. Look at the run it had for Wednesday. No, I typically don't trade in the first 15 minutes anyway, but let's see what happens here. And there's XPEV. Again, the EVs are in strong recovery mode today. Again, they got hammered on well, Tuesday was kind of the start of it, but certainly Wednesday, I report the Chinese government were looking into XPEV, not specifically XPEV, LI, and NIO, but the China EV market. So that really hammered those down, and all the other ones, even from the US, and plus all of the infrastructure plays in the EV. Yeah, typically I don't trade in the first 15 minutes. Just let things settle down a little bit. It's just a personal. Now, Sierra Wireless, keep an eye on Sierra Wireless. SWIR had a tremendous day on Wednesday. Tremendous day. And it looks like it's trying to take out the high. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, fuel cell, I'm sure they're all in semi-rip mode today. There's that RMG, just talking about it. I mean, the high in the pre-market was what? Looks like around 1673. Another one I was watching on Wednesday was GEL, Genesis. So this is taking out the high on Wednesday. I believe this was an AI alert. It's a big float. Not very much volume yet. The RMG just ripping here, guys. I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to have to make a list of the SPACs and who they're trying to buy, or who the merger is supposed to be with. RMG, another one. There's the IPOB. I don't know if GKK is going to be in the room. Oh, there you are. There you are, GKK. I put this one up. This is not one that I actually usually share. I know it says shared here. This is not one that I have on my list, but you might want to just take a look. I might start watching this one a little more closely. Okay, I call this my small gap breakout. So I'll explain what it means. I'll put this in the room. I'll explain what it's looking for. I may add it to my shared list. So what it's looking for, like all the ones in the pre-market that I put in my pre-market actives, they've already gapped up a lot. There's GME, guys. I had GME on a price alert at 15.85. So IGT, GME, guys. Look at this gap. I put a price alert right there over last month's high. So what is the small gap breakout? So this restricts the gap to less than 1%, I think. Yeah, so it restricts the gap to 1% either on the high side or the downside, and then it starts to move. So you can take advantage. So a lot of times, of course, what we're seeing are stocks that have already gapped up a lot. So this restricts the gap, but then it's moving once, after a small gap, then it starts to move. So you might want to take a look at this one, the small gap breakout. This is for people who say, well, can we maybe get some of these before they gap up so much? That makes sense. Yeah, so what? Look at that. I mean, so what, right? For Blink, BLNK, getting hammered. Again, I can't remember, Citron or Street Sweeper, and then somebody also mentioned Kramer. Oh, I'm sure you did, Grumpy. It's the only reason you're putting that in there. Who are they looking at, GKK, GIK? Who are they looking at? Guys, I was talking about GEL, G-E-L, Genesis. Again, the volume is not great, but if it really starts to pick up, look left, 1188, high looking left on that monthly chart. And we got the rhythm section going here. Rhythm Pharmaceuticals, RYTM. And look at this gap up. Lightning E-Motors. Okay, so it is so it's an EV play. EV play. Double is confirmed. I love it. How's crypto doing right now? Is Merritt a little bit of a, yeah, okay. So crypto got hit on, I think it was on Thursday. Look at GMHI. Here's another one of those SPACs. Yeah, you can't, stop orders do not, I mean, if you're talking about auto, no. After hours, you have to manually get out of trades. And that's virtually every broker that I'm aware of. All right, so Sorrento had the big pop, 836, but 836, and then it's down, moving back down. Here's I don't know if they're really into this TTM. I don't know if they're actually an EV play. Probably have an EV vehicle, TTM. It's in India, out of India, right? Yeah, out of India, Mumbai. Yeah, it's TTM. Yes, I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're an EV play. Probably. I'm sure they've got a. They must have an electric vehicle. All right, look at Rite Aid. Rite Aid on the way down here. RAD on the way down here. Just slightly negative. All right, getting close to 9:45. So again, nothing will happen in these two windows until at least 9:45. Doesn't mean you'll get anything at 9:45, but okay, so this IPV is pretty strong. It's on the list. Needs a little more volume for it to actually trigger. Another one of those SPACs. Got up to just, I'm going to stick an alert, 1106. That's what it hit in the pre-market. Oh yes, you can trade pre and post market. That's up to your, it's usually an option within your brokerage platform. You have to enable it. But yes, I mean, virtually every brokerage platform out there allows you to trade pre-market and post market. The only thing is you have to go in at a limit order. You have to get in at a specific price. You can't put a market order in. But other than that, it's exactly the same. Look at LAC, another SPAC on the move here. I'm sorry, it's not a SPAC, sorry. Carried away there. Lithium play, again, an EV play. I haven't seen the lithium plays that active. Not compared to the pure EV plays, but all right, so we do, let's see. So if you have the AI, you know that there is an AI alert. Sorry guys, I forgot to, this should be here. Okay, this one is really sinking here. ATEC, Alpha Tech, really sinking here. Really no inkling that was going to happen. Look at the pre-market, nothing really happening there. All of a sudden the market opens and it gets hammered down 12% right now. Okay, so now it is 9:47. So see if we get anything in my window here, my ups or downs from my watch list. If IPV gets over 11, it will trigger in here. Standard, so you're somewhat lucky in that we do have the nice Thanksgiving Day promo on. So all you would need is our standard subscription. That would be the minimum, okay? Lloyd? Very few earnings plays today. Here's one, XIN. All right, guys. Well, listen, there is one of the AIs I'm really watching here. Look at Rail. My goodness, look at Rail. Oh. So IGT maybe moving along with GME, IGT. Look at IGT. Wow. What a move. Big float too, 100 million in the float, but somebody said they took IGT almost at the beginning. So congratulations. Look at this move for IGT from wow. There's a dollar move or so. Meanwhile, Tech, what is Tech doing? Tech Resources, boy, this is a nice move here. It's a big float, probably a $500 million in the float. I mean, it doesn't have a ton of room though. Look at the weekly chart. I mean, it's 1750 or so. I mean, obviously, if you took it now and it got up to 1750, it'd be awesome. But it it doesn't have that much room. I'd like to see more room in a weekly chart. Okay, so there's APHA that did trigger 739. Look at the room it's got. Cannabis play, of course. All right. Well, okay. So the one I was looking at was WYY, and I'm glad I didn't take it. It actually got stopped out. However, there was a re-entry at 1140. Well, if you have the premium, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so GME and IGT rippage here. Okay, so ATEC did bounce, has a big bounce, almost not quite a dollar, 9.28 on the low, right back up to almost 10. Boy, this is getting trounced here. Well, it's still up, SPCE, but it is really hit high at 29.35 down to 27.38. So I mean, it's still a big gap up, but it is really losing it. SPCE. Well, yeah, I mean, the question is for E-Trade Pro, yeah, I mean, the strategy scanner was a really old version of Trade Ideas, and E-Trade, for whatever reason, they've decided that they don't want to use this anymore. So we're getting a lot of questions from E-Trade subscribers wondering what happened. Yeah, we've had some halts. Look, yeah, QS. Wow. Oh, this is is this an IPO? Really? They launched today? QS launched today. It just resumed. Oh, thank you, Goods. Okay. Okay, so this is the new symbol. So KCAC was a SPAC, and now they've completed the merger, obviously. QuantumScape, that's right. QuantumScape. So in the EV sector, thank you, Grumpy. GME continues to move higher here. GME. See if this has moved at all. Wow, okay. APHA 739 on the alert, 746 now. And All right, guys, NNDM making a new high now, NNDM. So let's take a look here. What is happening? Works 258. I still don't see a reason for Works being up. WRX, huge move though. Look at it, it's up 100%. Now low float. Look at the volume. This will trade probably the float. Well, it's a shorter day today, but this could easily trade the float 10 times today. Gets up to about 660 million shares. It's possible. That's possible, GKK. It is very possible. Clean Energy, CLNE. So it popped pre-market, market open, had a bit of a drop. Coming back now, CLNE. This is a big float. All right, so this one opened, and look at this. I mean, 747, it is gapping down now, PEIX. Boy, watch this on a 7 break. I mean, look at NNDM. Let's take a look on the monthly chart, expand it just a little bit. There's that lithium play, LAC, marching higher. Let's take a look at it. Come on. High is 490, 536, 750. So we've got to go back about a year and a half ago before we see these highs on the monthly chart for NNDM. All right, so Tour now after that big pop, 442, it is giving it up. It is shortable too for me at Interactive Brokers. The low on Wednesday was 305, so it's getting close to that. Meanwhile, lithium, LAC, surging here. Whoa, yeah, look at Corsair. I mean, this is, call this a gaming stock. Wow, this is, now it's two days. Tremendous IPO from here, had a tremendous run. First real red day was on Wednesday, and now this is today, Friday. Well, I'm being asked, is APHA a long play? Well, I mean, it's triggering in my out of my watch list as a potential long. I mean, if you believe that the cannabis sector is going to keep going, then I mean, that's up to you, of course. It's a pure sector play for APHA. If you believe the cannabis sector is going to keep going, obviously it's not bad. It has some room up to about 1050 or so. There's NNDM on the, there it is. So 684 on the alert, over 7 now. APHA, the alert was what, 639. So let's see if it can get through 750. When you say where to the, well, it's running in here. I mean, all the mentions are in here, Daniel. Okay. All right, so this is another IPO back here, ASAN. What do they do? Do we have it here? Very fancy. Develop a work management platform that helps teams orchestrate work from daily tasks to cross-functional strategic initiatives. Pretty flowery. Yeah, so lithium is, so what are the other lithium plays? I haven't seen lithium that active. It has not really followed along with the rest of the EVs. But today it's definitely having its day. PLL, that's right. I remember another lithium play, PLL. NNDM from the alert, 684, has broken free now of 7. As I mentioned, it has some room on that monthly chart. Here's the next high looking left, is about 759. So if you're in this one, keep an eye on that 759 level for NNDM. Again, I do not see any specific news for it, but it's a 3D play. How's DDD doing? See if that sector is the overall, oops. See if that overall sector is moving. Not really. So this is NNDM moving on its own. Okay, one moment, please. So LAC is just, yeah, LAC, what a move it's made. It's interesting to me because when all the EVs were going crazy, look what this was doing. And of course, the whole idea of lithium is that it's one of the battery components. So, but it was not following the rest of that market, that sector. Okay, so clean energy did pop over 5. So I'm putting an alert back here at 509, 508 or so for clean energy, CLNE, see if it takes it out again. It did hit in the pre-market. It hit 525. It's been on a nice run over the last, well, this is the 3rd week. There's that ASIN just mentioned, probably about right here. So I guess a lot of people were a little disappointed with what happened with crypto yesterday. Bitcoin, I think a lot of people were hoping it would take out that 20,000, which was the high of about 2 years ago, I guess. So I was saying crypto is dead. Of course it isn't, but I'm just going to hold off now on either the Mara or the Riot. Yeah, I don't see, Michelle, I don't see any specific news for rail. A lot of them this morning that are gapping, I just don't see any specific news. I'm looking at headlines and I don't see any specific news. Boy, you're... I'll see how it trades. I hear you. I do hear you, GKK. All right, Unity Biotech, UBX. Wow, look at the room it's got. Look at the monthly charts, guys. I mean, look at the weekly. Look at this. I mean, look at the room it's got. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying it's going to get up to 1550. I'm just saying when you look left, there's the next high looking left on the monthly chart. It's also the next high, so it's the same thing on the weekly chart. It's through the 200-day now. 617 is the 200-day for UBX. Yeah, meanwhile, Moderna, yeah, look at Moderna, mRNA. Hopefully the wonder drug. Look at this, look at the month. Almost a double, not quite. So guys, I am in that APHA. It hasn't moved very much from where I got it. Got in around 746, but I am in it, but not moving very much. 746 will probably get me out. I did not take LAC, no. Push this up here. Maybe not dynamic enough. It's a big float, you know, it's a big float. So let's see if it can take out that high. Just mention Unity, UBX. Man, Corsair is just getting hammered here. I don't know if there's any specific reason other than, you know, a lot of profit taking. Meanwhile, RMG ripping here. Yeah, so PLT, boy, this is the tough swing trade. PLTR has, you know, wide swings intraday. Okay, guys, look at PGEN. PGEN is almost at Wednesday's high. I think this will trigger. I think it's on my watch list. It is on the watch list, and the filters have been met, so it would trigger if it takes out the high. Yeah, I don't see any specific news for rail. So the market is up a little bit here. Tech is definitely strong today. Spies up. Let's see if it's not quite at its all-time high. Not quite. I do have an alert set here. There's the all-time high. 364.38, so it's very, very close to its all-time high. All right, sorry about that. Just happy dog, happy dog. Meanwhile, what are you doing? ORMP. Wow, look at this. I mean, look at these. Look at this move here for ORMP. Through the 200-day on the gap up this morning, 200-day moving average. So looking left, and there's the next high looking left on that weekly chart, which is 440. If it can take out 440, it's got a shot, you know, to get into that 5 level. And there's the PGen. I mentioned it. PGen. Even RMG. So you would have thought maybe that's late 1675. Why didn't it alert earlier? I could probably tell you. 10:06. Yeah, so there's the high. That was in the first 2 minutes. There was the high at 1674. So for it to trigger here, it has to take out that high, and it didn't take out that high until 10:06. That's why it triggered at 10:06. So even though this appeared to be fairly late, only because it had to take out that high 1675, still a nice move to 1744 so far from my watch list. All right, APHA rewarding me. So, because this is a short day, I will go over. I'll wait till 10:30. Just want to put the promo code in again. Don't want you guys to miss out. That we probably, I think the email went out. I think it's good till Sunday night. Okay. Now the PGEN, what was I just talking about on the PGEN? Okay, so I think what happened here, this is a symbol name change. That's why it looks like an IPO, but it is not an IPO. So symbol name change. So it's on an all-time high, even though it looks like, I have no idea what it was before, PGEN. So many companies seem to be changing their name or their symbols, not the names, but the symbols. I haven't seen this one. I'm not sure I've ever seen this one. YRD. Is this a China stock? It is a China stock. YRD. So it's a kind of a fin. Okay, so YRD, low float. Oh, I see. One of the very, very few companies that release it's a U.S. market, of course, but Thanksgiving, but released before the market opened yesterday. Okay, guys, I have taken some of the APH out at 766. Okay, I didn't expect a huge move, but so I'm out of some of the APH at 766. Again, you manage to trade as you see fit. It's not bad. Nice, not a bad percentage move from 746. All right, so AMWL, again, I don't see any specific news on it, but AMWL back right up to the pre-market high. AMWL, it's a big float, 142 million in the float. Oh, no, I'm long gone, Mara. Long gone, Balsano. Long gone. I think it was even on Tuesday I got out of it. Yeah, it was on Tuesday I got out of it, so. Could bide my time. Yeah, I mean, the crypto market got thumped on yesterday. So the question from the YouTube feed from Sandeep, what does the float mean? So the float is the available, so there's 27 million as an example. So the float is the available number of shares for trading. So the lower that number, the better. If a stock is has some kind of a catalyst for a move, could be an earnings play, could be just some news, could be a sector move. Okay, so if there is a catalyst that is affecting again either the sector or it's an earnings play or it has specific news, then the lower that number, the better in terms of these huge percentage moves. So 27 million, that's a relatively low float. But, let's take a look at some of the other ones. I don't know, this is why maybe, on APHA, you're not going to get a tremendous move. I mean, it's still up 8%, but it's a big float, 288 million in the float. So it's going to take a bunch to move it. I don't see any specific news for APHA today. I think it's just a sector move more than anything. So just think of the float as being the supply of stock. So the lower that number, and if the demand is there for whatever catalyst there is, then that is what causes some of these crazy, crazy moves. And in essence, the float is determined if you take the number of shares outstanding, and then you start subtracting what insiders and hedge funds, well, not necessarily hedge funds, but mutual funds own, and that's, in these smaller ones, obviously there are no mutual funds, but you start subtracting from the shares outstanding, and that gets you to the float. And that's why you'll hear me say, what was the one earlier that I said was going to, had 6.6 million in the float? I mean, here's an example. Here's a low float, 9 million in the float for freight car, rail. It's already traded 8.9 million, so it's almost traded the float. And you'll hear me say sometimes a stock will trade the float several times over. Just can't remember the one that had 6.6 million in it. Works, thank you. Was it Works? Yes. Okay. So yeah. So Works is what. Thank you very much. That was the example, Kimura. So there's 6.6 million in the float. Look what it's traded. 60 million. And I said this will probably easily trade 10 times the float. So if that got up to 66 million, that would be or 67 million. That would be 10 times the float turning over. Now, we don't know for sure if Works is up because the Robin Hooders are mistaking it for Work. It's very possible. And again, Work is up because there's a proposed takeover, I think, by CMR or CRM. I'll get it right. CRM. There you go, Salesforce. But again, just to wrap that up, that's why you see some of these crazy, crazy percentage moves. You're not going to get Facebook up 100% or 89%, on a typical day anyway, unless, Facebook had some astronomical news. But that's why you can get these crazy, crazy percentage moves because of that float. So the next question people ask is, well, what is a low float? For me, anything under 20 million is a low float. And then, if the lower it is, and for whatever reason, traders are piling into it, that's what can happen. So a lot of these things, again, if you look, I don't see any news on it. But, if all of a sudden it becomes the flavor of the day, traders are, we're not the only room out there. And traders are seeing these moves. And so, a lot of times it's just traders start parlaying into a stock for no other reason other than it's a moving stock. So guys, I'm all out of my APHA. I don't usually trade on the half days, but because it takes, you have to get it, to me anyway, you have to get out of some of these early because it takes a while for them to set up. PRVB, somebody mentioned PRVB. Yeah, another huge move for mRNA. And look at Pfizer. My guess is that Pfizer's putting on a little bit of a move, but nothing fantastic. I mean, Pfizer is absolutely taking a backseat to mRNA, and I guess I have to believe it's because of the refrigeration issue. So even though Pfizer came out first with the announcement that their drugs seem to have 95% efficacy, I guess that's the correct term, but the major issue I think with Pfizer is the storage at such a high, 50 to 70 degrees centigrade. Whereas Moderna looked like it was more room temperature. Well, not quite, but 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. All right, so it is now 10:30. So first of all, if you're brand new to the room, we don't have that many people in the room this morning. Just the hardcore half a day trading. Welcome to the room. This is the format, Monday to Friday, between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Obviously not 3 p.m. today, but 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sharing my screen live on the mic. If you are a Trade Ideas subscriber, well, first, I want to put in my home page here. Okay, so here's my home page. So there are lots of information from my home page. If you want to take out a subscription, there is the promo code right now, Thanksgiving 25%. So if I click on my home page, so if you click on Get Traded, obviously you disregard this one, that promo code. So if I click on Get Trade Ideas, just to give you an idea how much it will cost. So the big premium plan, premium annual, see what happens. I'll put this in here, and it is case sensitive. Okay, so it is case sensitive, and there it is. So it'd be $1,700 for a premium annual subscription. That's with the 25% off. And the standard, $1068 a year minus the 25%. The big difference between the premium and standard is the AI. AI quite inactive today. But that is the reason, typically the reason why people take our premium service. They want to check out the AI. There are some other differences, but that is the main difference. Now, you don't have to have an annual plan. You can always go month to month if that's more suited to your how you want to take out a subscription. So the standard. So this is what I would do. If you're unsure, and if you're just showing up today, or even if you've been in the room for even a few weeks and you haven't taken out a subscription, you can always try us out. The standard monthly, $118, less the 25%. You can try us out for a month. If you don't like it, well, you just tell us, and this is just month to month. Or the premium, $228, less the 25%. Now that discount, remember, it's only good for the first month. But if you decide that you do like it and you want to upgrade, say from standard to premium or from a monthly to an annual, we will honor the 25% promo code as long as you do it within 30 days. Okay? A lot of other information. On my homepage. So the trade of the week, that'll get sent to you before the market opens every Monday morning. So there will be one next week. And so it usually shows up about 30 minutes to 45 minutes before the market opens on Monday morning. I will not be doing a recap today, but I do a daily recap, but I will not be doing one today. Here are all the scans that I'm sharing. You can click on this right here. Here are all the scans that I'm sharing. And education. I want to put this link in on its own, the 20 short lessons. I think it's a really, really good link if you're just starting out with trade ideas. And I think it's Sunday night to Michael, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, Sunday night. Sometimes they extend it for one day, but to be on the safe side, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday night, okay? Just to be on the safe side. So the 20 short lessons, and it will not take you 20 days, but all the basic features of trade ideas. What is a top list? What is an alert window? How to create them? All the basic features of trade ideas. Okay, so that'll get you started. And even if you're not a subscriber, you can check this out also just to see what the basic features are. We have there will be no support session today, but next week we'll be back to a normal schedule between 12 and 1 in the YouTube feed. Daily webinars will be back to a normal schedule next week, Monday to Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. They are all archived. And a lot of educational videos here, and trading ebooks for trading. So a lot of information from my homepage. Now I'm going to go over the AI. All right, so this is what the AI is all about. We have what we call 50 baseline strategies. So once the market closes, the AI gets to work. I'm not sure what's going to happen today. I mean, the market is in half a day, but I'm sure it'll go through its optimization routine. And that's what happened Wednesday once the market closed. It went through its optimization routine for the 50 strategies. These are the ones that made the cut out of the, These are the ones that, quite a few actually made the cut from the 50 strategies. Why did they make the cut? Had the right profit factor and win percentage combination, and there are some other factors. And this is what I would do to follow the AI alerts as they come in. I would click from the toolbar, I would click on New, and then AI/Holly Strategy Trades window. Personally, I don't really care what strategies make the cut. All I care about are what are the alerts from them. And that's all you have to do then. Just click on from the toolbar, New AI/Holly Strategy Trades window. very few trades today, and I'm sure it's going to. I doubt. We might get some more today, but I doubt it. Only three alerts today, and as I always say, you have an entry price, you have a stop price, and it's up to you to manage the trades as you see fit. Now I do want to talk about Brokerage Plus. This is the Brokerage Plus window. Okay, I just got word that the Thanksgiving Day promo will be good until Monday night, 11:59 p.m. A lot of times what we used to do is we'd have a Cyber Monday promo, but the Thanksgiving Day promo, Black Friday, whatever you want to call it, will be good until 11:59 p.m. Monday night. So I do want to put this link into the room. This is the Brokerage Plus link. No, the stop is, the smart stop's got nothing to do with the AI, okay? John, that is something that gets generated every time you click on an alert. All right, you'll have a smart stop that is generated. It's nothing to do with the AI. Okay, it is a guide if you want to follow it, but the AI stop is different. Okay, it's a proprietary stop that is being used within the AI. I do know the market's closing at 1. I do know. All right, so I just want to talk a little bit about what trade ideas is. The reason I say this is because people get to when I run through Brokerage Plus and Interactive Brokers, they get a little confused. First and foremost, trade ideas is a scanning tool. All right, you can set up your own scenarios of things that you like to see using our alerts and filters. What I mean by that, for instance, in the basic new highs and lows, this is what I set up. I'm looking for stocks between 1 and 20. The relative volume, current volume is at least 4, so it's trading at least 4 times normal, what it would normally trade up to this point of the day. I have a minimum volume of 400,000 shares. Has to be up or down at least 4%. Those are the filters that I'm using. So if those filter values are met and a stock makes a new high or a new low, then I will see it. So you can set up your own scenarios for trade ideas. So it's a scanning tool, first and foremost. Now, we link with many brokers. If you click on Tools, External Linking, I've got a link with Interactive Brokers, but we link with many brokers. And you just have to click on Add a Link and follow the instructions, and we link with many brokers. What does that mean? It means that when I click on an alert, the symbol will show up in your order entry in your brokerage platform. From there you can trade it. So it's a big time saver. If you're clicking on a lot of alerts all day long like I am, it would be a real pain if I had to type these symbols in all day long into my order entry. So it's a time saver. That's what it is, the linking tool. So you don't have to use Brokerage Plus to do that. You don't have to have an Interactive Brokers account. So hopefully that is very clear. Now, if you happen to have an Interactive Brokers account and you want to use this Brokerage Plus window to trade your Interactive Brokers account, you can do so. So in other words, instead of clicking on the alert and then trading from within your Interactive Brokers platform, you can use this to trade. So, and how to do that? That's where I put in the Brokerage Plus intro, and it's a video that was done that's going to show you everything that you can do using Brokerage Plus and Interactive Brokers to trade. Now, the other way to use Brokerage Plus window is as a simulator or paper trader. If you're new to trading, you hear me say this all the time, please practice trading before you commit money to the market. The simulator uses our real-time data, so it doesn't matter what brokerage account you have. It's using our real-time data. Very simple to use. You click on an alert, the symbol will show up. Now, I should say this, you click on the sim from the toolbar, the box will pop up, and now you're in simulation mode. And again, you just click on a symbol, the symbol will show up here. You can pick how many shares you want to trade. You can pick the price you want to get in at. If you're going long, you buy it, and if you're going to short it, you sell it. Okay, so Michael, we have given our accounting people the day off today, but on Monday, if you contact, let me give you, you can even do it now. I mean, I don't expect that Kelly is going to answer you today, but certainly on Monday, and she'll adjust your account. You have a monthly, and she'll adjust it so it takes into account the annual. Okay, so I can't tell you when it'll start. Okay. So let us take a trade. Let's take Sierra Wireless, okay? Now you can do some things here. For instance, you can use the simulator to do like a conditional alert or a conditional buy. So let's just say I wanted to wait for Sierra Wireless to take out 15, okay? You know, it's at 1486 right now. I'd like to see it take out that high and maybe get over 15. So this is all I have to do. I've got Sierra Wireless in here, so let's take 200 shares. If it gets up to say 1505, I type it in both. And click the buy. And you'll notice that a line shows up. It's hard to see right here, but a line shows up. That's because the next high, I guess, looking left is 1505 also. But on the monthly chart, you can see it right there. It's hard to see, but it says opening order 1505. It's a dark blue line. You know, why don't I do this and make it? I'm gonna cancel the order. I'm going to do it again so the line shows up a little more clearly. Make it 1525. Hopefully that'll show up a little more clearly so you can see what I've done. Oh, I know why. Okay, let me just do this. The problem is it's just outside of the, well, anyway, if it took the trade, it's hard to see it. Well, here on the monthly chart, you can see it. It's a little jumbled here, but there it is. There's the dark blue line. So if it got up to 1525, it would take the trade. And this dark blue line would fade to a faint blue line. So that's what we call a conditional buy order. You know, you wanted it to take out a certain level. You could also do it on a pullback. Let's just say you wanted to take this on a pullback, and I'll show you how that would work. I'm going to get rid of the order here. Just go into orders and cancel it. We'll just do the reverse. Let's say I really wanted to take this on a pullback to 1475. And now I'll click on buy. Now you'll see there will be a conditional buy order. So see right there, there's a conditional buy order. So it'll take the trade. If it pulls back to a level that you like, it'll take the trade. And these, again, conditional buy orders. Now, let me take a trade. So we have some pullbacks right now. Well, it gives you alerts all day long, okay? You have an entry, you have a stop, and you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is load this window, and as I always say, you manage the trades as you see fit. It's really that simple, okay? You know, how you are going to trade the AI will be up to you, but all you have to, there's nothing for you to do. You just have to load the window and wait for the alerts to happen. You have an entry price, you have a stop, and you manage the trades. It's been, these strategies for today have been optimized for today. Does it mean every single alert you get is going to work? Of course not. But really, that's what the AI is all about. I wouldn't worry about anything else. I wouldn't worry about the individual strategies. I really wouldn't worry about anything else. I use it as a watch list all day long. Okay, sometimes they trigger a little bit early, and then you have an opportunity maybe to get in on a pullback, or maybe it does pull back below the price, and then it comes right back up to the price. So I would never ever get hung up on having to get in right at the penny. I rarely take an AI alert right at the penny. I like to see how it's trading, see what sort of room it has. Yeah, it's automatically, yes, Sandeep. It's automatically done. You just have to wait for the alerts to show up. If you have our premium service, then I would recommend you just load this window and then incorporate it as part of your layout. So you don't have to load it every morning. Just incorporate it as part of your layout. I'm in nothing right now. I was in AFA earlier, APHA, but I'm completely out of the trade now. Oh, look at it! Look at the move on this one. ORMP, what a move! So again, there's that low float in play. 18 million in the float, pretty low float. I don't see any specific reason for its moving, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's moving. For me, I rarely have 3 positions open. Probably I would say 2. I understand, Mike, that moderating a room, I can't trade. Well, first of all, even if I weren't, I was never a trader that would get into 10 to 15 trades a day anyway. I would probably take maybe 5 or 6 trades a day, and rarely more than 2 at the same time. Just the way I trade. Moderating a room, of course, I can't focus 100% on trading. But that's just me, and again, I say, even if I work moderating, or I've never been one that is desperate to be in a trade all day long. I have to have a trade, even so. Let's just say I had a trade open and then I close it. I'm not desperate to have another one open. Let's see. Question was, where can I find a description? No, I actually have. I'm going to have to save this link. I actually found a link for it. So here is a description of the AI strategies. Okay. Optimum. So I was asked, what is the optimum criteria for me to get into a trade? A lot of room on the daily, weekly, and monthly charts. Okay, that's my. Oh, Jen, I'm sorry. Here is the link. I put it in the other room or the other tab. So there is the link for it. AI strategies link. Okay. So if I see a big void, as I call it, a big void on the daily and the weekly and the monthly chart, that gets me very interested in a trade. I mean, look at ABOS as an example. Okay, I mean, look at the room this has got. We're on the weekly chart. There's the high looking left. So this gets me interested in the trade. It doesn't mean I'm going to take it right away. I mean, it's sort of run on the 5 minute, but it definitely gets me interested in it. If all of this, what if, for instance, you see this weekly chart right here, if all of this trading was right above this, I wouldn't be interested. Exactly. When I see the void, that's when I start the process of thinking, okay, do I want to take this trade? How is it trading? What's the market doing? Is there a news catalyst for this, in the stock? But my main thing is looking at these higher time frames, because virtually everything that I see is either making a new high for the day or a new low for the day. Great. Where could it keep going to? And that's why I have these higher time frames up all the time, even though I'm more of an intraday trader. All right, guys, so what time is it right now? Almost 11 o'clock. So the market only has another couple of hours. So I would expect things to really start to, settle down. Yeah, so no, I wouldn't even, I'll be honest, I wouldn't even pay attention to it. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking maximum price limits? Well, what do you mean by that? AI strategies have a max price limit. What do you mean by that exactly? I mean, very few. First of all, I don't know how you know that because the AI strategies, you can't see the filters that are in place. So what do you mean by that? Maximum price limits? There was only one that I know of, Sunrise Mover, I think and Mighty Mouse, which I have no idea if it was made the cut today. That usually looks for stocks under $5. Other than that, but you don't even know that because you can't see the filters that are in place. So you might have to explain that a little bit better for me when you say has maximum price limits. Yeah, so Michelle, if you look at the let's see, the 20 short lessons, how to create an alert window. Okay, so if you click on that link and then go to the how to create an alert window, that'll cover it. How you can, it's really, it's pretty simple. Trade ideas is, there's a minor things you can do with what we call our custom filters. But Trade Ideas, when it first started, said, okay, listen, most people are not going to get into programming. I mean, if you had TradeStation or E-Trade, they're not E-Trade, eSignal. There are programming language which you can create, your own customized versions of what you're looking for. What we did is we said, okay, let's do it a little bit differently. So a la carte, we created a lot of alerts and a lot of filters. I'm not going to go over them all, of course, but a lot of alerts and filters. So you kind of a la carte pick. So if you want a price range, you pick the price range. If you want a minimum volume, you pick that. You can pick a different sort of alert. So it's kind of a la carte. So without your knowing anything about programming, you can create most of the trading scenarios that you want. Meanwhile, ABUS ripping, as I was just talking about it. Okay, so that's got nothing to. Oh, I see. No, you can't change it then. I see, Noah. No, you can't change it. I know somebody was talking about Sol a little bit earlier, SOL. Big move for it. No problem, Michelle. So you understood what I'm saying, right? It's just a matter of picking and choosing the alert. The alert. Typically, what I would not do is I would only have one alert for your strategy that you set up. I mean, you can have several, but it depends. You don't want to be too overwhelmed by the number of alerts that you get. So what I'm saying is, I mean, the only trigger here for me are new highs. Now, if I wanted to put a new 15-minute high also, I could do that. I will get more alerts. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I would really, I probably would not have more than 2 alerts per strategy. Otherwise, you'll just get overwhelmed by the number of alerts you're getting. Well, you're a pseudo candidate. You did show up. Go back to bed. Good morning, Real. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Don't see any specific news for this one. I want to see, when was the 24th? I was no, the market was open. So they did have some news on Tuesday, ORMP, but certainly, there was a modest pop. Wednesday, sorry. But look at this move here, ORMP. And again, why? 18 million in the float. You're not going to see Facebook up 56%. Unless it comes out with something extraordinary. Why? Because 2.3 billion in the float. It takes a lot to move something with that many shares in the float. Pinterest. What is Pinterest doing? P-I-N-S. All-time high. Yeah, so the all-time high was last month. Had earnings on October, end of October. Had a big pop that day. Okay, I want to take a trade just to show you how you can do it. Let's take Sierra Wireless right now. It's SWIR, okay? I'm going to cancel out of this. So let's say I want to take a couple hundred shares. Shows up right here. So it took a couple hundred shares, 200 shares. Now, I always have a stop. So looks like a pretty decent stop area would be 1475. Of course, this stop should be, you should know your stop ahead of time. That'll determine how many shares you're going to take. So I'm going to add the stop order. So at this point, if the stock went down to 1475, you can see that red line right on the chart here. I'll be taken out for a $39 loss. I can put a target in if I want. And let's put a target of, I'll just make, 1550. Just want to show you how you, well, the problem is you won't be able to see it because it's, it's above here. This is a stock. Well, maybe you will. Yes, you will. On the monthly chart, you'll be able to see it. All right. So there it is on the monthly chart. So these two red lines. So if it got down to 1475, you'd be taken out for a $39 loss. Go up to 1550, you'll be taken out for a $111 gain. These lines are movable. So let's just say the stock, it really started working. The trade really started working. You could use this like a trailing stop and keep moving it up, okay, to areas on the chart that make sense. There might be another support area, as the stock starts moving up, that makes sense. So you put it at that support area just below it. So if it broke down below that support, you should be out of the trade. So it's like a trailing stop, as opposed to some kind of an artificial number, like, well, I want 20 cents below or 1% or 0.5% below. You can use this like a trailing stop. Lloyd, yes, you can. I'm going to put the script in. So the answer is yes, you can. Do you want to know how? Because I thought you had an e-signal, or an E-Trade account. Well, it sounds like you do because it's saying, okay, you have both. Yes, you can then. It can be a little bit tricky, but there is a way in which you can do it. And I'm going to put that, I'll put it in, just put it right underneath where you asked the question. Okay? It's a script on how to do it. So what do we mean? Always have a stop, and when I said you have a stop, and that'll determine how many shares you'll take. So let's just see if I make the math easy. Let's just say I got into this one at the math is pretty simple. 14.95, and my stop was at 14.75. That's a 20-cent stop, right? So let's just say that I was willing. And it'll all be dependent on your account size to risk $100 a trade. So if depending on your account size, obviously if you have a $5,000 account, you're not going to be risking $1,000 a trade. But let's just say, based on your account size, you were willing to risk $100 a trade. So, we have to look at realistically, not every trade is going to work. So you have to have a place where you're going to get out of the trade if it's not working for you. And so you should have when you're getting into trades, you should be risking about the same amount for every trade. So if you're risking $100 a trade, and I got in at $14.95, I've put my stop at say $14.75, which is 20 cents away. That would mean I could buy 500 shares. 500 times 20 cents is $100. So if the trade worked against me, that's what that's the max I'm wanting to lose. And so what you don't want to do is get into the thought process of, okay, I lost that first trade at $100. I risked $100. I lost. I better risk $200 the second trade because I've got to make that money up, and then I've got to make $100 so I can be up $100 after the second trade. And you know what happens? You lose that one. Now you're down $300, and so on and so on. Then the panic sets in. You start getting into revenge trading and risking way more on the next trade and the next trade, so you can get back what you lost and make money. So you just have to move on. Have a manageable amount that you can lose on a trade and just move on. Sometimes you get into a trade maybe a little bit early. Doesn't work. If it comes back to your trigger, you can always get back in. Commissions are so cheap or non-existent that what you're paying on commission should not be a factor at all. Exactly. But listen, we've all done it. We've all done it. One of the reasons why I don't like trading in the first 15 minutes, absolutely. I will miss on all the ones that keep running, but I got hammered enough in the market, not drinking, hammered enough that what happens is you take a trade right off the bat and it doesn't work and it puts you in a bad frame of mind. So, and that's when you can really start to get into that revenge trading psyche. So that's why I just said to myself, you know what, I'm just not going to trade the first 15. It's not like there won't be great setups after 15 minutes. And it's not that after 15 the market settles down, of course. But just from the way I like to trade, I just like to not take those early trades, and take that quick loss and then, be in a bad frame. It's that simple, frame of mind. There probably is after hours. I don't know. I don't know how late it'll be after hours today. I really don't know. Do a Google search on that maybe and see. I really don't know. Or you could just take a break, take a break from trading. Yeah, so Ali, I'm not a big pullback trader, but you might want to check this one out, okay? It's more of a top list. It's showing you stocks that have pulled back, strong stocks that have pulled back. So let me, the question in the YouTube feed is, do I have a suitable alert for a pullback? I do not, but this is a top list winner. It's called Biggest Pullbacks Winners. Okay, and I can load it and I can give it to you. And it's more of a top list, so these are showing you stocks that are still up but have pulled back. Okay? QS. Okay, so this changed. So this is, I mean, it's, what can I say? It's been awesome. So this was the spec KCAC, I believe. So they effected the merger today. Today is its effective day. And, you know, my thoughts, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's been an incredible, fantastic day for it. You know, you have to look who they've merged with, and you know, do you believe it's QuantumScape Corporation? You know, I mean, it's really have no. I don't know that much about that company at all, but you can look it up. I mean, right now, I mean, I'm not going to take. I mean, I wouldn't take it right now. I mean, it's chasing, but that. Having said that, I mean, it could gap to $50 on Monday. I don't know. Okay, one moment, please. I'm very interested to know what parameter you have for identifying possible faces. Very interested, Real. So, for instance, I mean, there's the biggest pullback in winners as an example. So, this is the sort of thing you'll see. Still a huge winner. It is pulled back. Now, does that mean you take the trade? Of course not. But I mean, that's what it's trying to identify. JG, let's see what it's done. Well, so it is really pulled back. But if you know, look at it in the 15, so huge pop, pull back. I have no idea, Scuba. If you're asking, you know, I certainly have no idea. Others might give you an idea, but I have no idea. I mean, if you look at the daily chart, I mean, there might be some support around 34, down here 30. I mean, you know, this is not what you want to hear, of course, but I don't know how far down it's going to go. Yeah, I can. I think this is it, Bill. Yeah, biggest pullback in winners, it's called. I would sort it like this, though. I would sort it on the change, and well, it depends. You 15-minute. So I have different time frames here. You know, this is the biggest pullbacks. Whoops. If you sort, you double left click twice on the change from 30 minutes. So you can see this is the biggest one. It's pulled back, or you could do it on the change from the 50% change from 15 minutes. Here we go. Or in P, so that's a 12-minute or 12%. You know, it's up to you. You can sort on the various columns. A certain percentage from the daily lows. Yeah, so that would require a custom formula. Are you a subscriber, Ferdy? Are you a subscriber? Have you ever created a custom formula before? Okay, so are you talking to me, Real? Yes, I do recall. I've just got so many scans going. Not me. Oh, no, I was kidding you. I was kidding you. You would put in. What's happened here? I can't get. It's a bit of a. Sorry, guys. I just have to do something. I was kidding you. You'd put fades. You put faces instead of fades. That's all. I was just kidding you. Well, I use a different parameter for identifying possible faces, is what you said. I was just kidding you. Not fades. That's all. So. All right, so this is a data point that you can use. I don't have, you can play around with it. You have to figure out the formula yourself, but this is a data point you can use. I don't think I used to have one that I created, but I don't think I have it anymore. So I'm trying to answer Ferdy. So this is the formula editor, okay, and you can see that one of the data points that we do have is today's low, T_low. So you could create a formula, and the current price is this. You just, there it is, price. So you could create a formula that, T low divided by, or price divided by T low times, say, 100% will give you the percentage move. Does that make sense? But these are the two data points that you can use. Let me just put that in the and how to do it. Give me a moment. Here is how you actually create a custom formula. If you follow those instructions there. Now, in this one, I have units $1. It doesn't really matter what you put for units, but I mean, in this particular case, it would be percent. All right, KLR. So it'd be up to you to create the formula, okay? I mean, those are the two data points, T underscore low, and then price. Those are the two, and you could do something like, oops. That probably should work. I mean, there's the price, the current price, divided by the low of the day times 100. That should give you a percent off the top of my head. So that's what you would put in the description, not the description, but the when the box pops up, the source. Yeah, look at Moderna. Yeah, I mean that's a big gap down. Well, not big percentage wise, but 130 down to 122. I'm not even sure you can create custom formulas from the if it's no the let's see, can you? Yeah, I guess you can. Well, first of all, the app is way more powerful than the web. Okay, way more powerful. So I mean, if you're thinking about a choice between using our web-based version or the downloadable application, you should always use the downloadable application. But it would be available for both because all it is you're just creating a filter. So you'll just if you follow those instructions, then what you've done is you've created a filter. Just like so you'll have a min and a max box. It'll be way at the bottom because if you've never done it before, it'll be called U0. Just like I'm saying, in the script in the instructions. So it'll have a min and a max box just like any other filter. Whoa! Look at there's been a bit of a downturn now in the EVs again. Look at this. I mean, 68 down to 62. So a big down. And look at fuel cells. So we had initial pops for all the EVs, and now it looks like most of them are giving it up. Oh, let me, I don't think I put yeah, I did. Okay, so again, here are all the data points that you can use, okay? Formulators or those are the data points that you can use. And I think that formula that I put in there, I think that'll work. Let's do something here. Ah, yeah, that won't work. Okay, so that's right. Yeah, you probably want to put it like this. You want to have one and then subtract that because I'm just running through it. Let's say the stock was at $10 and the low was at 8. So if you divide that, you're going to get 1.25, of course. So you want to subtract 1 from all of that to get 25, and then multiply 0.25, then multiply by the 100. That gets you to 25%. Does that make sense? All right, guys. So I may shut the room down at noon, okay? I mean, things are really starting to slow down here, so I may shut the room down at noon. I'll stick around if there are questions, but otherwise... Well, for me, they're slowing down in terms of the number of alerts I'm getting. It's not shortable for me. PLTR is not shortable for me at Interactive Brokers. Noticing it's making another new low. Not shortable for us, Real. At least not at Interactive Brokers. Yeah, I don't know if there's a specific news on why they're all kind of tanking now. I mean, we know what the news was on Wednesday. Chinese government looking at that whole sector. That's what caused it to tank. Them to tank. But certainly they had a nice pop this morning, but I have no idea. I will put it here. Here is the link for it. I didn't have it as one of those shared. Maybe I'll add it. So the above link, Larry, is for the pullback on winners. Oh, okay. Sorry, Bill. Okay, so there was no alert. Okay, there's no alert that's going to show you breaking yesterday's highs. However, what you could do is something like this. So if you do a search, so right click on your top list window and do a search on and start typing in position. So there's the position in the previous day's range. Okay, so now if you want to see stocks that are above yesterday's range, fine. But otherwise, if you wanted to, you could show stocks that are very close, and it'll be up to you to play around with it. But for argument's sake, if you put 95 in the min and say 98 in the max, that would be stocks that are within 2 to 5% of yesterday's high. So you can play around with that. You wanted to get it even closer. You may not get very many alerts or symbols, but you see what I'm doing here. You could put 97 and 99. Okay, so these are very, very close. And then you could sort on that column, and it'll show you the ones that are very, very close. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, well, for instance, here, I mean, this is the position in the previous day's range. Now, everything in everything here is going to be above yesterday's high. So it's just a matter of, here's my filter. That's what it would look like. So everything is going to be above yesterday's high, or at least at, it's 100%, the minimum. So that's why I was saying you could put 95 and 98 in here. You have to play around with it. I mean, I don't know what sort of you'll get. But again, if you put 95 and 98, that'll mean that the stocks are within 2 to 5% of yesterday's high. So if you put 95 in the min and 98 in the max, that's what it'll show you. And then you could sort on that column. Then it'll show you the ones that are, close. Now, again, I don't know what sort of how many stocks you'll see, but you can always play around with those min and max numbers. You want to get it even closer, put 99. That's within 1% of yesterday's high with a minimum, and put a minimum in. So you could go 95, 99 as an example. Is that clear enough? Is that clear enough? Again, you have to okay, you just have to play around with you know these values in here in the min and the max. But the key would be then sorting on the column, and you'll get the ones that are as close to within that max to breaking yesterday's high. Okay, give me a moment, please. I'll be right back. Well, wow, look at that. Yeah, well, it's an all-time high now again. I mean, that was the IPO day, went absolutely ridiculously crazy, pulled all the way back. I'm sure a lot of people thought, well, that's got to be over. Look at this now for snow. I don't know if we have a brokers list, Michelle. Who's your broker? Maybe I can. I don't know if we have a brokers list. I mean, we're compatible with most brokers, so except Robinhood. I don't think we can link with Robinhood. But I don't know if we have literally a broker's list. I mean, we're compatible with virtually with most brokers. Compatible. Now, when you say compatible, we were talking about having a link so when you click on a symbol, it'll show up in your broker's platform. That's what you mean, right? Like just the time saver. That's what you mean by compatible, right? I just want to make sure. Because I mean, it doesn't matter what broker you use. You can use trade ideas. It's just a nice little time saver having if we can establish a link so that you can click on the alert and it will show up in your broker's platform. Then you can trade from within that platform. Well, I can't tell you if it's accurate, Ferdy. I mean, it does. I know relative volume does work after hours, but specifically for works, I cannot tell you. Let me. I can post that, and I can ask the question. Like everybody's gone today, so but I can post it. All right, so Sierra Wireless starting to work a little bit. This is the trade I took in the simulator, SWIR. Has some room to, not a ton of room. If you look at that monthly chart, 1595. Well, actually not bad. Well, 1560, 1595. So somewhere around that 1550 to 1560 mark. It may it may stall. If it can find its way to get through that, though, I mean, look left. I mean, still has a ton of room. NK, it's something west, right? Nanti K West. Yeah, look left on that monthly chart. It still has a run maybe to 10. So, Michelle, did you hear my answer? Oh, you're more than welcome, Bill. Would you mind if I use that as a testimonial? Okay, thank you very much. Just give me one moment, please. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am on mute. Thank you, the dreamer. So I just wanted to say, so Michelle, I'm answering your question. So yeah, interactive brokers, yes, that works. Well, yeah, I know you pointed it out earlier. I mean, it's got a lot of room. Does that mean it's going to keep moving higher? Of course not, but it has room. Let's look at well, today. What did it get up to? Got up to 9, a little over 9. Look where it stalled. Look exactly where it stalled. Basically right here. So it's got to take this out on the daily chart. Stalled almost right to the penny. Then after that, I mean, I just don't see it having a ton of room. I mean, 966, 950, 966 is the next area. If it can find its way through all that, then yes, it's got a lot of room. Well, if the questions really start, I mean, I'm not going to do any more trading, so yeah. So Ferdy, if I was on mute when I made the explanation, I mean, the relative volume filter will be excellent though to show the increase in relative volume. I mean, that will be a really nice filter to have, something that is showing a big increase in relative volume, say in a 5-minute time frame or 2-minute time frame or whatever time frame you pick. That will be a really nice filter to have. Don't ask me when that can happen, but because that'll be just another way of seeing stocks that are, moving higher on volume. Meanwhile, SWIR, yeah, it's kind of moving a little bit anyway. So this is turning into a nice little trade out of the simulator for SWIR. There's a $6 a $6 pot from Moderna from 120 all the way $7 127. Tech is still strong. Take a look at the Q. Well, Qs are starting to drift down a little bit or drop somewhat. But Qs are still up. Dow is up a little. SPY is up a little. But the SPY is putting in a bit of a red bar. McAfee. MCFE. MCFE. This was, well, call it an IPO right here. McAfee. MCFE. Starting to fade now. Wow, SWIR is really working out nicely in the simulator. So I should have mentioned all this before. These are hotkeys, flatten, half, double. So if I want to get out of a trade, I just flatten it. If I want to get out of half my trade, half. If I want to double it. So these are hotkeys you can use. Of course, you don't have to do it that way. If you don't want, you can actually go in and if I wanted to trade 50 shares, I could just type in 50, pick the price I want to get out at. All right, guys, so I think, again, I will stick around if there are questions. Otherwise, I think I will just shut the room down at noon. But I'll stick around for questions if there are questions. Well, if you ask me questions, I'll stick around. Well, remember the market's open until 1, so I usually in the last hour I usually just shut the room down. I know you're going to say, well, why don't you stay to 1? I just think things are going to, even real is leaving, okay? Take a break, guys. Just take a break. Always Eastern time. Always Eastern time. Yes, E equals MC squared. Yeah, so Sandeep, I mean, here, this is it. I'm out of the APHA. I didn't put that. My last sell was at 760. So before I do leave, wow, look at SWIR. What a nice. At noon Eastern. Okay, remember the market's only open till 1 today. It's a half day. I will stick around if I have questions. So there's the promo code again. And it'll actually be live until Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. No, this is today. Options volume today percent. This is today. So this has had. So we've had 2,000 option contract, a little over 2,170 option contracts today, which represents a little more than 5 times normal the average over the last 10 days. So this is today. Well, I mean it's an increase. Okay, it's an increase over the average over the last 10 days. The average of the last 10 days, yes. So that's why when we talk about the option filters that we have, for those of you who like to trade options, we don't actually, we don't identify options as such. It's only the underlying stock, but this is what we do have for option filters. Some obvious ones. Put call ratio, option volume today, the put volume today, then the call volume today. So this number right there, the option volume, keep asking them to change the name of this, but anyway, the option volume, that's the average over the last 10 days. And then this is the option volume today percent. So that references that number right there. So if you added that filter and say put 200 in here, so that means a stock would have to, if its stock had normally it traded say 2,000 contracts over the last 10 days, today it will have to trade, if I put 200 in here, 200%, today it will have to be trading 4,000, in other words, double the number of contracts. So it helps you to identify stocks that are having abnormal option trading days. All right, guys, I'm getting close to wrapping this up. No, linking works with everything. It doesn't. It's not just a standard or a premium version. Our linking works with, and yeah, with Thinkorswim. It's not a premium option. Our linking tool is part of our standard service. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is just flatten this position, show you how you can flatten it. I just flattened it. So I'm out of that position right there. You too, Mike. It was a struggle getting up this morning for this half day, but hey. I guess it was worth it for a lot of you. All right, guys, I don't see any other questions. Okay, I don't see any other questions, guys, so I think I will wrap this up. So guys, enjoy the rest of the day, okay? Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends, and have a happy rest of the happy Thanksgiving, or Thanksgiving, whatever you're going to do. I guess there's college football games on today if you're into that. The room will open, of course, Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So I will shut down now. Okay, so again, have a great, well, now it's a 2.5 day long weekend. So we'll see you on Monday morning. Thanks a lot, guys.